Hey, there we go. There's my dog.
Who came the farthest? Anybody from outside North Carolina? Virginia? South Carolina? Anybody further away than Virginia? Alright, there you go.
San Diego?
San Diego.
I think you win.
Does anybody have an extra aquaculture?
You know what? I didn't bring one.
Sure.
No,
I like a copy of this thing. Hey, I have a copy of it.
There's somebody else that's.
Does anybody not have this that wants it? I do have a copy of it already.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I was just asking.
Alright, so let me introduce Dave to you officially. I know you guys have heard him talk. Dave is, this is Dave Ward from San Diego, California. His wife, Monica Ward, was my coach. I was assigned to her through the Leads program when I bought Power 90. Dave and Monica are responsible for all the success that Alicia and I have had. He and his wife are the reason why we are where we are. We've gotten to be friends with them over the years, and so please give a round of applause to Star Diamond Coach Dave Ward.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate that. Let me just get my. I was hoping to have a minute or two to get this going, but hopefully it'll just go. So, technology, work, please. So, that was awesome from Denise. I hope you guys got a lot out of that. I think what's really exciting for me as somebody who's been around this business now since really the beginning. My wife, for those of you who don't know, is one of the founders. And I started and got involved in late 2008, early 2009. What's exciting for me is when I got involved, we didn't have Shakeology or Insanity. So that'll give you an idea of where we were at. I mean, it was like Stone Ages. And to come to a training like this, and every single time I come to something like this, I get something new out of it. You know, the materials, the handouts you have, every single time there's new stuff. It's a company that just continues to innovate. So that is very exciting. What I'm going to talk to you about today is what we call a balancing act. I mean, this is really about living life by design. You know, Dana Johnson people, if you've been to Dana Johnson, she talks about living your life by design and not by default. So we're going to talk about that, and I'm going to focus on time management. Okay, how to sort this stuff out, how to get things done. This business activity tracker is phenomenal. I'm going to give you some other tools that I think are really, really simple and have been really, really effective for me. And that should advance this up. Go ahead. It's okay, you can do it. Sorry, guys. Okay, why is that? Okay, I may just have to stand here and do it this way. Well, that's not working. Okay, so let's start with kind of why, right? I mean, you know, why bother with time management? You know, and the little slide says it'll only come back and slap you in the face. And I think that's how a lot of people feel about it. It's like, why should I even waste time on this stuff? You know, somebody said earlier when you're setting goals, why? I don't have time to set goals, I don't have time. Well, I'm going to hopefully give you the why bother. There it goes. Hey, it's working. Right, why bother? So, here's why. Because if you want to get something, you have to have a path. Okay, that's the why bother to do this stuff. This is kind of time management 101 stuff that I'm going to talk about. Here's the other reason. Opportunity, okay? Great example today. Denise says, hey, send out challenge groups. Send out information about challenge groups. Guess what I have? I have a web page. It's all set up. So what I do, I send out a link to everybody. Are you interested in this? Great. When they responded, yes, great, here it is. Check it out. Boom, done. Why? Because I manage my time efficiently so that when opportunity starts knocking like that one, I can answer the door and I can take advantage of it. So this is something we're going to talk about today. I'm going to tell you how I learned this lesson in a very harsh manner. But life is too short to spend time on things that don't matter because we can't get it back. This is one of my cool little things. If you can't read that, it says Mark Zuckerberg likes this. Recent search time on Facebook today. This is the new social networking site. So if it's not working. This is kind of a funny one. I thought the Bermuda Triangle of productivity, Twitter, Facebook, and Gmail. And if I put my blog right there, it would be simultaneously the best spent time and the worst spent time. Because this is a place where you can just get lost, messing around, wasting time, hitting refresh on your email, hitting refresh on the news feed, going to Twitter, and then all of a sudden you're catching up with somebody who you don't even care about. Okay, this happens, right? I mean, if you haven't done this, you're not on Facebook. Jim Rohn, Denise talked about Jim Rohn. I've always been a huge Jim Rohn fan. You know, days are expensive. When you spend a day, you have one less day to spend. Make sure you spend each one wisely. The point here is this. Everybody in the room has 24 hours in a day, right? Like, does anybody have more than 24 hours? No? Right. We're all the same. We all have the same amount of time. So what you have to understand is that when you say yes to something, you have to say no to something else. Okay? I've had to really readjust my priorities in my life because I've realized, wow, these days are expensive. I may not have time to play golf anymore. And that may be a scary prospect for some people, and it was a scary prospect for me, but I realized that life is just really, really short. Again, we have a limited amount of time, right? You have 24 hours in a day, and you gotta sleep. And some of you have kids, some of you have a full-time job. I'll talk about that as well today. But we don't have all this time to just throw away. The other thing is, you don't just have 24 hours in a day. We have a limited lifespan, right? I'm gonna talk about that in a minute too, but every day that you don't do anything to move your goals forward, whatever they are, I'm not just talking about your business or your fitness or your relationship with your children or your spouse or whatever. Every day you don't take a step forward, you actually take a step back because you just lost that day. You're not standing still. If you're not in motion, time, it's like inflation, right? You can just keep up with it. Time just keeps slipping on by. So if you're not in motion, you're losing. Okay, what's my purpose today? Well, hopefully it's to inspire you to be inspired. And I'm gonna talk to you about balance. Right? This is an awesome crane, right? You see those people like post the crane pictures? I love those. Greg Barth from Minnesota always does that. It's like crane on a rock on the edge of the Grand Canyon. No, but balance is really the key. Denise kind of touched on this as well. I'm a huge believer in that. And I see a lot of people, you'll see people in this business as you go through and probably just in your life, where you have people who, they're super, super fit, right? But they have no relationships with people, right? Can't maintain, is that me? Anyway, can't maintain relationships with people. Or you see a lot of customers, right? Like super successful, I have this one guy, super, super successful business guy, one of the smartest people I know. But he is 80 pounds overweight and he's gobbling down 5 different medications for cholesterol and blood pressure and prediabetes. Why? Because there's no balance in his life. His life is totally out of whack. Okay? Now for a lot of people, grabbing control over that fitness can be the thing that allows them to grab control over other areas of their life. But if you're not purposeful about it, you're not going to be able to get where you want to go. So I'm going to try and give you helpful advice today. This is not so helpful. You need to read that. This is where you laugh. No, this is not helpful advice at all. And I don't know if you guys are used to practice law. I'll talk about that today. But we always used to say, I'm treading water with my hair on fire. And I never understood that. I'm like, why don't you just not go under water for a second and put your head up? I'm also going to try and fill in gaps where they exist because sometimes they're really, really confusing. This one was one that really confused me. I spotted that on an airplane not too long ago. So let me tell you my story, or at least a little bit of it. I'm not going to go into the whole thing. Before Beachbody, I used to be a lawyer. That's what I did. So, if you think you're busy with whatever you're doing, whatever your day job is, you probably are. I can tell you that I was working between 40 and 60 hours a week in a very, very high stress, high pressure environment. I was doing real estate zoning work, helping get permits to build things like cancer treatment facilities and subdivisions and gas stations and movie theaters and amphitheaters and all kinds of stuff like that. High pressure, lots of people lighting my phone up all the time, wanting time for me. Now, I didn't like that very much. And I didn't actually like practicing law very much. I never really thought about doing anything else when I was a kid. My grandfather's a lawyer, my mom's a lawyer, my great-grandfather was a lawyer. And that's all I ever thought about doing. I never even considered doing anything else. And then I got there, and I realized it sucks. It's just not very much fun. And why? Well, the reason for me was, I realized at some point all I was doing was just pushing paper around and making money for other people. And I figured out that that wasn't very much fun. And I realized that I needed to start doing that for me. This is my sort of before photo as I'm showing it here. This is in 2003. That's my son, who's just a baby, as you can see there. And I was wondering why Monica, my wife Monica, hated these sunglasses so much. And I realized it's because they They sort of complete the Mr. Potato Head look going on at the time. And I was pushing 200 pounds in this picture. And I'm about 170, 168, 172, somewhere in that range today. So that'll kind of give you an idea of where I was at. Power 90 was the answer. Our story really begins with Power 90 in 2003. For those of you who don't know, Team Beachbody started in March of 2007. So there was no coaching opportunity back then. We were just customers. We got our product. My wife saw it in the middle of the night. She was up feeding Nicholas, using the TV for light, ordered her program, showed up. Okay, great. Like most people have, right? We'll get the box, we'll open it up. All right, let's go work out. Worked out, got great results. 2004, we did Power 90X, or did P90X, and then we did Slim and 6, and did a lot of other stuff. My wife got really involved in the message board communities, pre-Facebook. Imagine that.
It's awesome.
And pre-Facebook, and she was involved with the message board community, and she was really faithful with that. And in 2006, Carl Deichel and John Congdon started doing some market research. And what they realized, what they discovered, was that only half the people that were buying their products were opening the box. And if you know anything about this company and about the mission of the company, that's not the deal. It's not about selling products. It's about getting people results. You can't get results unless you open the box. So they started thinking about, well, how could we incentivize people to help us get others to open the box? And that's how the idea of Team Beachbody came about. And where they started was on the message boards. And what they did was they grabbed about 60 people and said, guess what? You're a coach now. And everybody went, all right, what do we do? And they said, well, it's going to be really cool. When you go on the message boards, your text is going to be in a different color. Go get it. And you're going to have a little thing that says coach underneath it. Are you going to pay us? Nope. Okay, cool. And some people went, screw that, I don't have time to do that. I'm not going to waste my time with that. Some people, like my wife, took it really seriously. I'm a coach. Nobody's ever looked up to me for fitness advice, because if I had her before and after picture, you'd see that sure, the results were way more impressive than mine. Nobody ever looked up to me for advice before. But she took it seriously. She was really faithful with it. Okay, again, if you're a Danny Johnson person, being faithful with the little things, and being made to rule over much, this is a prime example. She took it seriously, and so did about 40 of those 60 people. About 6 months later, they got a call from Carl and said, I have a new business that I'm going to be starting. You seem like you're serious about this health and fitness stuff. Would you like to join and be one of the first people to get involved with this new thing I'm starting out? And of course she said yes. And that's how we got started with Team Beachbody. We were customers. Okay? Just like probably most of the people in this room, probably most of the people that you deal with. We were just customers who had a passion for the product. I mentioned golf earlier. I used to play a lot of golf. A lot of golf. I'm talking 10 to 15 hours a week spent practicing or playing golf. And I got pretty good at it. I was about a 3 handicap in this picture. It's a very time-consuming thing. It takes a lot of time, round of golf is like, you want to say it's like a 4-hour deal, but driving to and from and warming up, staying out for a beer with the boys, it becomes a 6.5 hour deal. That's Saturday. Right? You play golf? Your husband play golf?
No, for that reason.
Yeah, all right. It takes a lot of time, right? Well, this particular, for me, it was consuming. I don't mean because I'm a little bit of a junkie when it comes to things. This picture was taken, that's Mount Shasta in the background. You can't quite see it, but that's up in Northern California, on a trip that I used to go on every single year. And this picture is on Father's Day. That's when that picture was taken. Because we would go every year for Father's Day. Why? Because Father's Day is about me. Not about my kids. It's not about my wife. It's about me. So my gift to me is, see ya. I'm gone for a week. A week we would go. At that time, I had 3 weeks of vacation a year. Practicing on 3 weeks. And every night on this trip, I had to go do work, by the way. At one point, I had 2 weeks of vacation. And I spent one of them doing that. And I spent the rest of my time ignoring my kids because I was too busy, either playing golf or practicing golf or doing my law job to be a dad. I didn't have time because I didn't make time because this was my priority. Now, if you asked me, I would have told you, oh no, my family's the most important thing in the world to me. No question about it. Number one, top of the list. If you looked at my schedule, you would realize that was a lie. My wife sure did. And my kids just kept growing. Why? Because like I told you earlier, you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards. Because time just keeps going. You can't stop that. You just cannot stop time. So here's how I learned this lesson the hard way. That's my dad. He's there with my little girl. This is in 2001. This is probably 13 years into his 22-year-long battle with a neurological disorder that ultimately would claim his life at 62. And when he died, he spent the last month of his life in Phoenix. He wasn't a guy who was real involved in my life when I was younger. My parents got divorced when I was really little. And I think he always had this sort of thing that, someday, at least this is what he told me, someday I'll make it all right. And you'll be older and we can reconcile and, all those things that I should have done with you when I was a kid, we'll do that when someday rolls around. And see, someday never came. That never happened. Instead, what it looked like was me taking care of him and helping him in a hospice facility die. Because he ran out of time. Someday just never came. And as I sat there in his hospice room and I was there with him, I started to realize that I was doing the same thing. Now, I lived in the same house as my kids. That's different, right? But I wasn't spending time with them. I wasn't invested in their lives. I wasn't paying attention to my wife. I wasn't doing any of those things. And time was just slipping on away. What did I spend my time doing? Hitting a little white ball around, pushing paper around, making other people money. That's what I was doing with my time. And I started to realize when this happened, I started asking myself, what if that happens to me? Because I can't tell you what it was that he died of. It's not like ALS or Parkinson's or, it looked kind of like those things, but that wasn't what it doesn't have a name. I don't know if it's hereditary. He was 40 when it started to pop up. I'm 40. That scared the crap out of me. And all of a sudden, life became urgent. Very, very urgent for me to start getting in motion and start doing something with my life. So I started thinking about, what does that look like? And I started thinking, I just don't want to do this law thing anymore. And this was towards the end of 2008. Monica had been having pretty good success with Beachbody. But again, we didn't have Shakeology, we didn't have Insanity, and it was like, we got P90X, and no one knows what it is. But we're doing okay with it, And we're making some money, and I went to her and I said, this was about a year after my dad died, and I said, I think I don't want to go to this law office anymore. I don't want to do that anymore. Because I hate it, and it's distracting me from the life that I say I really want to live. And she said, well, what do you want to do? And I said, well, what I really want to do is be able to just walk my kids to school in the morning and then walk them home at the end of the day. And then sit down with them and do their homework. Because I started to listen to some really smart people who told me, being a good parent really isn't about taking your kids to Disneyland once a year. It's about sitting down with them every single night and doing their homework. Because that's what being a mentor is, and that's what parents are. And so what happened for me is I started to articulate that. And I found my why. I found that thing that was going to get me up early in the morning and keep me up late at night, and that's exactly what it was. Again, if you guys have a job, you know what I'm talking about. You have certain non-negotiables. We'll talk about that. I committed for 2 years. Once I made a decision to do this, I committed for 2 years. I'm going to wake up every day, 4:45. By 5, I'm going to be working. By 7, the kids are going to be up, and I'm going to need to get ready, and I'm going to need to drive off to that stupid office that I hate. In the car, I'm going to listen to something that's going to drive me to be better. I'm not going to eat lunch anymore. I'm not going out to lunch and doing that whole thing. I'm going to go to Starbucks and I'm going to work. And I'll just eat on the way or whatever. Then, after work, I'm going to come home, I'm going to eat dinner, and after I eat dinner, I'm going to lock myself in my office. And I asked my wife to be a partner in that. And said, look, what that's going to mean is, for the next 2 years, I might not be around. But I'm telling you right now, I'm going to buy my time. And that's what this represented to me. Owning my schedule. If I had the ability to walk my kids to school every morning and pick them up every morning, and then I could do whatever I wanted whenever I wanted. Nobody was going to tell me you only get 2 weeks of vacation because I was the boss. And that's what this came to represent. And this is this actual picture. Sat. I pinned it up right on my desk. Just boom. Can't miss it. Every single day. Look at that. Checking in with that. So I believe that we have kind of the why nots, right? You get whys or why nots. And the why nots are like, this is the noise that goes on for people. You know, it's like, I don't have time, it's too expensive, what do they even think? What if they'll say no, I'm scared. And the big one that some people don't want to deal with is this one right here. I don't deserve success. Here's the thing. If you're able to do what I was able to do, and I want to preface this right now by saying that what I did is not what everybody wants to do. Okay, that's my why. I'm using my life as an example. Okay, I'm going to talk about surfing a little bit. I probably know anybody in this room surf? No. I'm not going to teach you how to surf. But if you want something like I wanted that, I'm going to teach you how to get there. But here's what happens. When you start to identify your why, and you get something that's so powerful that it was like it was for me, all encompassing, all that noise doesn't matter. You don't care what people think. I cared what people thought in a big, big way. I was real wrapped up and worried about that. My in-laws telling me, you're crazy, man. Spent 5 years of undergrad, 3 years of law school, you took and passed 3 different bar exams, you practiced law for 10 years and you're going to do what? Go sell some shake? What are you talking about? That's idiotic. I've got a lot of people telling me that. You must be crazy. You're going to go and be a network marketer? You're a lawyer. What are you doing? I didn't care. Once I didn't care anymore, everything blew up. You've got to have that thing. Okay? And you may not be able to right now articulate it, but at some point, you've got to be able to say, when somebody asks you, what's your why? I take my kids to school every morning, pick them up every evening. I used to do the little thing every single time. And it was bigger for me than that, right? It wasn't just walking my kids to school. That wasn't what I wanted. But that's what I boiled it down to, and I boiled it down to something that was simple and I couldn't forget. And all the noise went away. This is the noise. And this is what happens for people, right? They hit these little walls in life, like this mouse, right? What's this guy gonna do? Well, he's gonna back his chubby little butt up out of that thing, and he's gonna try and go down a different path. And that's what most people do. They hit walls in life, and they go, oh, geez, there's a big challenge, go this way. The reason, in my experience, is because they don't have, that cheese isn't big enough. It's not important enough to them. It's not, people tell me, oh, I want to drive a Lamborghini. No, you don't. No, you don't. Vision board with a Lamborghini and the desert island, and probably not. Probably not. When push comes to shove, you're going to go back down the path that you came from. Because that's what people do. Because it's not important enough. Or you really don't think you deserve it or can have it. So when you look at that vision board, it's just a bunch of nice, pretty pictures. When I looked at that picture of me and my daughter every morning, I knew I was going to get it. So this is what happens when you got something like that. You just start smashing down those walls. And the first one you get to is enormous, and you go, man, I'm never going to get over this it's too expensive wall, or whatever it is. You start to realize, you know what, I need some help. Sometimes you need a boost from the bottom. Sometimes you need somebody to reach down and pull you up over the top. That's why we're a team. That's why we have each other, is to do that for each other, okay? But then the next time you get over that one, and then you come to the next one, it's like, I don't have time wall. But it looks like half the size. Instead of 30 feet, it's only 15 feet. Okay, well, I got over the other one, I could probably get over this one. And then all of a sudden you work your way all the way down to the I don't deserve it wall, and it's like 2 feet up. Just go like that. Or kick it over. Or it's not even there, eventually. When the cheese is big enough, that's how you react, instead of reacting by default. This is what it looks like now. Actually, this is last year. My daughter's in middle school now. So he's a little too cool to But that's my son in the blue shirt, and that little kid runs out every single day. Still, just runs towards me every single day. And I go, that's my why. That's why I do this. That's why I fly across the country. Talk to people like this. For that. Not for a Lamborghini or an island or a $1 million, any of that stuff. That gets me going every single day. I get up. That's gonna be pumped. This is a view from my house, which is a nice little side benefit of having a big why and having some big goals and wanting to set things. If you've ever been to Southern California, this is San Diego. You can just barely see the tip of Point Loma right there. And that's the Pacific Ocean. That's where I surf right there. I spent, like I said, 5 years of undergrad, 3 years of law school, 10 years of practice. Took and passed 3 different bar exams, practiced in 3 different states. That was someday for me. It was someday. I don't know when. I'm going to do that. That's what I'm going to do. When? Someday? Maybe when I'm 65. If I live that long. I got out of that and then, nope. I'm going to give myself a 5-year plan to get here. I was living in Phoenix, Arizona at the time. 5-year plan to live here. I live in a building that looks like that one. If you looked at the next one over, my in-laws live in that one. Another building over, my mother and my grandparents live in that building. So I went from living 350 miles away from everybody who was important in my life to 5 minutes. And I had a 5-year plan, and it took me 4. Here's what. Okay, how do you really want to live your life? This was in a fortune cookie that I got when I went to Boston to go visit my brother. That's the truth. You are the architect of your fortune. It either happens or doesn't happen because of you and the things you do. Here's what it takes. You have to be an entrepreneur. Being an entrepreneur means one thing above all else. It's on you. It's on you. If your business succeeds, it's because you did it. If your business is a failure, it's because you failed. If you have a bad week, it's because you did something wrong. Okay? I get a lot of people in this business, well, my sponsor doesn't help me. I don't have any leadership on my team. My wife's sponsor has never placed a coach in our downline. Ever.
Say that again.
My wife's sponsor has never placed a coach in our downline. Last year, she became the 13th millionaire in this company. Hi. That's why. It's on you. If you win, it's because you did it. You picked up the ball, ran it across the line. That's why. You gotta be creative. This is not a conventional deal. This is not a go to school, learn this, go to work for this guy, be an apprentice, then get moved up to here, and then go here, and then go here, and there's this clear path that's laid out for you, and everybody's happy with what you're doing. You get to tell your mom, yeah, I'm a lawyer. And that makes sense. Or I'm a doctor, or I'm a painter, or whatever it is that you do. This is different. Okay? And some people are just not going to get it. Sometimes you got to break rules. Don't break corporate's rules. I'm glad Denise said don't break corporate's rules because Jemima, you don't want to deal with her. She's the compliance person. But you got to break some of society's rules. Like, failure is not an option. You've heard that? If you're a Navy SEAL, that's from the Navy SEALs, and I mean, I could throw a rock and hit the Navy SEAL training facility from my house. If you're a Navy SEAL, failure is not an option. Because people are going to die. If you're in this business, failure is the only option. That is the only thing. I have screwed up every aspect of this business from every aspect of this business. We talked about leadership last night and some of my major failings in leadership. And what did you say to me?
You wouldn't be the leader you are now had you not learned these lessons.
Exactly. Because that's how you learn. No, not society. Oh, no, failure's bad. No, you got to think differently. Face the war and be a warrior like a lion, or you're going to end up like a pet tucked away in a stable. You got to be a lion. Because people are going to throw a lot of crap at you. So you got to be bold. And you got to be aggressive. And you got to not listen to the noise and say, no. I'm going to walk that little girl to school every day. I'm going to pick her up every day. And I don't care what you think about it. I don't care if you think I can't do it. Watch me. What's that? It's an easy answer. Anybody? Cat. That's actually my cat. That's a house cat. House cat's very different than a lion. See, this cat, there's 3 things this cat does. It sleeps a lot. It begs for food. And it craps in a box. That's what it does. It does the same thing every day, wakes up, same thing every single day. Meow, 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 feed me, feed me, feed me, feed me, feed me. Begs for food. Sleeps, goes to the bathroom. Gets up the next day, what does it do? Groundhog Day. How many of you guys are doing a Groundhog Day? You get up every day and you do the same thing. Just like I did. Hate my job, 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 hate my job. Hate my clients, hate my clients. Gotta be a lion, not a house cat. Alright, so balance. I'm gonna go through this stuff kind of quickly because I don't want to spend a whole lot of time here because I want to talk about time management. And I have 35 minutes. So, get out this paper, quarter it. Okay, so you have these 4 boxes. At the top and right in the middle because you're gonna write stuff underneath it. Spiritual, emotional, mental wealth, and physical. I'm gonna go through those so you'll have time to write them in. Spiritual. People who do not have a spiritual life are a mess. Don't be a mess. Now, spiritual life looks different for different people. This is what it looks like for me. I'm a surfer. When I started surfing and I found the ocean, it changed my life. And it's not the same. And when I don't get to surf for a while, it messes with my head. Because I go out there, there's no phone, there's no internet, no one's bugging me. I hardly ever wear a watch unless I have an appointment or something I gotta get to. I'm just going out for a quick one. That, for me, if I don't do that, I fall apart. And Monica notices, what is up with you? Would you just go, sir, go, get out of the house, go away. Because I'm a mess if I don't take care of this. Now for Monica, it looks more like this. This is a picture of our son at his first communion. That's what's important for her. She needs to connect with that. It doesn't matter what it looks like. Maybe it's yoga, maybe it's a walk in the woods. Whatever it is, you need to find that thing. And then you need to spend time doing it. This is balance stuff, right? Emotional. These are the relationships in your life, right? Not just with your family, with your friends, with your business partners, with people that you meet in everyday life. So the people that it's time to go, and you don't want to leave, or you don't want them to leave, because they make you better. Okay? Whatever you do, you don't need to take these things too seriously. You gotta have fun with it. This is also about having fun in life. It really is. What makes you happy? What stirs you up emotionally and makes you happy? It gives you joy. It's very, very important to think about these things. Physical, we're good at this. We got all the tools. Most of us use them. And one thing to think about in the physical aspect, Denise mentioned the reset. Don't just address the outside. You need to address the inside. You were talking earlier, I strongly encourage you to do that. I guarantee you that maybe, and you know what, you can put this in the spiritual aspect as far as I'm concerned. Those 21 days for me, especially doing it with my wife, we connected on a level that we hadn't for a long time. So we're eating the same food, we're going through the same stuff. There's a little point where it seems like everybody's weight kind of fluctuates, and we were doing that together. And it was cool, and it was different, and it was something that stirred up a lot of different stuff in us. Mental, financial, this is your business. This is also maybe some things you want to learn, like a language or something like that. This is where I would put in that sort of category. This is what we're really going to get into, though. Okay? Denise talks about the three vital activities. This is how you do it. This is the how-to of the three vital activities. So, questions to ask yourself. This is homework. I don't have time to go through this right now. What is important to you in each of these 4 major areas? Spiritual, emotional, mental wealth, and physical. Who do you want to live your life with? How do you want to live it? Do you really want to drive that Lambo on your private island? Most people don't. Most people want simple things, like security for their family. That's what you really want. A wife, or a husband, or a significant other, or whatever it is that's going to nourish you, the time to enjoy those things. Those are the basic things that people want. But people put a Lambo on the thing, because that's what we're conditioned to do. Failure's not an option. You gotta have a Lambo on your dream board. It's just a lie. All right, where do you want to live? I showed you the picture earlier from our condo. literally 4 years ago, sat down with my wife and we got together and we got on the same page with this stuff. And she wrote down in a journal, I live in a house where I drink my morning coffee, looking at the ocean, that's clean and organized. And we went from a 2,400 square foot house to a 1,700 square foot condo. So it's clean and organized because there's no room for the crap. We get rid of a lot of junk. Lifestyle. This is about your life. Again, this is my life. I'm using my life as an example. I want you to encourage you guys to dig into your own lives and figure out, how do you really want to live? What is this? What is important to you? What's your why? What's going to get you up early in the morning and make you go to bed late? Style is optional. Because you're going to live one way or another, at least for some period of time. And you can live like a house cat. You can beg for food and sleep and crap in a box if that's what you want to do. Or you can choose to be a lion. That's the option that you have. How do we do it? Do you believe you can? Big thing. Okay. So, let's talk about doing it a different way. I'll tell you what I do. Again, this is my thing. All right, alignment. Denise talks about alignment. Firm believer in that. Right? When my former life, my calendar did not reflect the things that I said, and my activities did not reflect what I said my priorities were. I told you my priority was my family, but I spent 12 to 15 hours playing golf and driving, and 40 to 60 hours driving in that stupid job, and doing all of those things that were not that. Okay? Played fantasy football for 3 years. I don't have time to play fantasy football. I just don't. Not with my goals. Not with my goals. Somebody said this to me, and I was like, I will punch you right now. I said, do you play fantasy football? And I said, yes, I do, and I like it. So what about it? Do you have your kids' college education paid for? No. Do you have a plan to pay for your kids' college education? No. Okay. How many hours a week do you spend playing fantasy football? Is it going to quit the league? Sorry. I won't be at the draft. I quit. Because I don't have time for that. I just don't have time for it. All right, alignment, right? Aligning the parts of a device in relation to each other. You've got to get laser focused with what's important to you, and then the activities that advance that. And then when you do, this arrow is going to hit the target. That other one's going, who knows where. Right? Missing parts of the puzzle. For a lot of you, this is what it's like. There's just one thing that's missing. And all you need to do is be able to identify that one thing, pop it in there, and then you got the bridge to your goals. But it's about digging in and taking the time to figure out what that thing is. How do we schedule time? Okay, this is the nuts and bolts. You don't find time. You make time at the cost of something else. Rainy Posh. You guys know who Rainy Posh is? The last lecture was, you know, that guy? Okay, so Rainy Posh, for those of you who don't know, he was a computer science professor at Carnegie Mellon, and he went in for a checkup one day, and his doctors told him, we have really bad news for you. You have pancreatic cancer, and you're going to die in 3 to 6 months. And he lived about almost a year after that. And during that year, he did some of the most amazing things. And he had already done amazing things in his life. I mean, if you haven't seen the last lecture, go watch that. I mean, this guy truly lived life like absolutely to the fullest, like just the brightest star that, you know, exploded too early. But he didn't waste time in his life. He got a lot done. And the last lecture is kind of a message to his children more than anything else, and a chronicle of his life because he had little kids before he passed away. But Randy Posh, you make time at the cost of something else. That's exactly the fantasy football thing, or golf. Like, I just don't have time for that anymore. Why? Because I told you I wanted to build a business that does $1 million a year. That's one of my goals. Earn $1 million a year. Fantasy football doesn't pay me that. So it's got to go. Okay? My third favorite TV show. People tell me they don't have time to work out. The first question I ask them, what's your third favorite TV show? Or what's your favorite? I usually start with, what's your favorite? What's your second favorite? We get to the third favorite. Record it. Or do your workout during the program. I work out I'll put football on, get on my bike trainer, I'll watch golf, get on my bike trainer, burn 1,200 calories. Multitask. If being fit is important to you, give up your third favorite TV show. Why do you even have a third favorite TV show? All right, so we start with non-negotiables. Right, these are the things that you absolutely have to do. This is your job, right? Like when I committed to this program, I couldn't just go, like, I actually tried to. Told Monica, my time frame is 90 days to leave my job. She goes, you're an idiot. 90 days? No, it's not 90 days. It's going to be 2 years for you. That's how long it's going to take to get where I wanted to go from an income salary perspective. Okay, so your day job, right? Your kids, right? You know, my kids, they wake up at a certain time. I got to make sure their hair is combed and their teeth is brushed and that, they're dressed properly and we're off at school because they got to be there at particular times. It's a non-negotiable item. Okay, that's where you start. You may have others. Okay, there may be other things in your life that are just non-negotiables that you absolutely cannot give up. That's where you start. Use a calendar. You put those things on the calendar first. I'll show you my calendar in a minute and ask my kids appointments on it. Then we move to priorities. Okay, that's the next thing. What is important? You go back to that peace of mind square and you look at it and you go, what am I going to use my time for? And I can guarantee, I can't guarantee you, but I can guarantee you that it shouldn't, your third favorite TV show shouldn't be on that peace of mind square. This is for important things. Okay, you just don't have time to spend doing trivial things. You just don't, because you don't know how much you've got. 80-20 rule. This is vital to understand, okay? The 80-20 rule, for those of you who are not familiar with it, is that 20% of the people do 80% of the production, okay? In our business, it's more like 90-10. If you're new, it's more like 97-3. But what do people do? They climb into their back office, and they go, and they look at their sponsorship drill down, and they go, okay, I've got a coach, an Emerald coach, inactive, Emerald coach, who's probably the next Christine Dwyer, forget about that, and inactive, coach. And they start calling up the inactive people. Hey, what? Why? Get on the phone with the people who are doing the work. 80% of your time should be spent with the 20% who are actually working it. Or the 3%, if that's what your business looks like. If you have one, spend time with that one. If you have two, those are your two. Spend time with those two. That's who you spend the time with, not the people who aren't going to do it. Stop trying to drag people to meetings or get people to activate or whatever. That's a waste of time. Focus on the people who are on motion. Okay, how are we going to do it? Game plan, activities, and a daily list of 10 things. You might actually get this done. Okay, time management in football. Going for an analogy here. I love sports analogies. I'm going to get to baseball in a minute. I'm a Chargers fan. This is what our season looks like pretty much every year. Just kind of spiraling out of control. As Todd knows, he's a big Jag fan, right? Is that This is an inside joke. Monica could never get straight to. For those of you who don't know, Todd has like a panther den downstairs. I mean, it's a shrine. And even after seeing that, my wife couldn't put together that the Panthers and the Jags are two different teams, and so we always start making fun of it. No, obviously it's the Panthers, right? We're going to the game tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that. So how's time management like football? Okay, so it's question time. In a football game, who scores most of the points? The offense or the defense? The offense, right. Can the defense score?
Yes.
Yes, the defense can score. So let's think a little bit about how offense and defense are fundamentally different from each other. Okay? The defensive team lines up. Now they've got some idea what the offense might do, but primarily what they do is they react. They hope they put themselves in a good position to be in the right spot at the right time to react. And some teams are better, and some players are better at reacting than other players. But for the most part, they are reacting to what's happening. Offense is totally different. The offense lines up on every play, and they go, we know exactly what we're going to do. You're guessing. But we know exactly where we're going. We're going to run the ball this way between these two tackles, whatever it looks like. You're the wide receiver over there, you're a decoy, whatever your role is. Everybody's on the same page, and they all know what they're going to do. Most people spend their lives on defense. That's what they're doing. Because they will not take control of their schedule and they won't manage their time. So what do they end up doing? They end up hitting refresh on their Gmail. They end up hitting refresh on Facebook. They end up, wasting time on Twitter. They end up waiting for that customer to reach out to them. That's defense. That is defense. What I'm going to try and give you guys is just a plan for every single day to just get on offense. Every single day. Now sometimes your plan is going to fail miserably. I have had these days where I start out and I get on this, and I do exactly what I'm going to do today, and then kaboom! Quarterback fumbles on the 10-yard line. And you go, I'm on defense all of a sudden, and that's how you spend your day. That's going to happen. And again, you can score points on defense, just not very many. And you're not going to win a whole lot of games unless you get on offense and start scoring points. So how do we do it? I'll get to that in just a minute. I want to talk about the big opportunity first. Because so on offense and scoring points, what am I trying to do? This, generate more customers, connect them to a coach is the big opportunity. So as I'm looking at what my activity is every day, it's geared towards this. This is a slide from our leadership conference this year. It's geared towards that. Generate more customers, connect them to me. That's our big opportunity. I want to show you this slide too, because this is really important, and this will explain a lot of the marketing that I do and a lot of things that I do. This is another slide from leadership. What is this telling you? Okay, these are Beachbody's customers, the customers that Beachbody generates, not Team Beachbody, not people who buy it on eBay, not the people who get it from their brother-in-law or download it or whatever. That doesn't include these people. They're just the people that Beachbody generates, which is a ton of people, by the way. Of those people, 40% are upsold, meaning they, not that they buy Activate on that first call, but that they buy something else. They get their P90X and they start to go, okay, this nutrition guide thing, recovery formula, what's that? All right, I need that, I'm gonna go buy it. That's 40%. 12% of them do that more than once. 1%. 1% of their customers are on Shakeology, and only 0.5% are on Coach. So what's the big opportunity? Right here. This one. Get them from here to here. So when I'm forming challenge groups, I already have P90X. Cool, you're in. Well, yeah, I've got Insanity already. That's one of the responses I got today. I would love to join your group. I've already got the product. Is that a problem? Nope. Not a problem with me. Because this is an upgrade business. That's what this is telling you right here. This is about upgrading people. Some people upgrade to Shakeology. 1%. Some people upgrade to Coach. See this number right here? If Beachbody takes that person, you're an M1 coach, so you get coach leads from Beachbody, hopefully. If they give you that person, when they become a Shakeology customer, they're 7 times more valuable to you. That's what that's telling you right there. When they become a coach, they're 29 times more valuable to you. This is an upgrade business. Start upgrading people. What are the core activities? What are we going to do every day? We're going to find, we're going to invite, we're going to share, we're going to sponsor, we're going to follow up. And we're going to create a daily list of things to do that fall in one of those categories. Okay? Other things, I'll show you my list in a minute. But fine, right? Maybe the most important one. You have to continue to find new people. But a lot of people walk around and they go, I'm looking for people who don't have P90X or don't have Insanity already because I want to make that sale. Not really, not necessarily, because this is an upgrade business. People who already have the program are great because they've already got a belief system that the programs are good and the programs work. You get them passionate into a challenge group, get them dialed into some place where they're getting real results, they will upgrade for you. So find is always going to be there. Invite. The big opportunity. Next. It's about customers. The challenge. That's your big opportunity. That's how you dial people in and get them to upgrade. Okay? How do you do this? Look at your announcement today. You have, all the tools are there. There's no secret. Denise said this earlier. I got 24 hours in the day. I have kids. I had a job. I had a full-time job. I don't have anything remarkable to share with you other than consistency and being faithful to these little things every single day. So write this down. That is a Google link that will take you to a video from Tommy Meyer talking about the 5-step challenge process. Okay, I'll leave that there for a second. Incredible video. You may have seen some of the other ones. This one I think is the best. It's got the best audio, and you can see he writes on the board, and you can actually see the board and what he's writing. I think it was a DC, right? Yeah. Okay, it's a DC. Everybody got that?
No.
Okay. It's GOO.GL/TK6QK. Good? Okay. Share. Again, look at your notes. Denise taught us how to share. We have more tools to share. I'm telling you, when we started this business, not only did we not have Shakeology, not only did we not have Insanity or any of the other, I mean, we had P90X, and that was about it. I didn't have one video I could send you that wasn't me talking about this stuff. We have a video library that's so massive, they're going to have to go in and recategorize everything because it's all getting lost in the shuffle. They need to make it easier to find because there's so many videos to share with people. I didn't have a Shakeology website or an Ultimate Reset website or a Beachbody Coach website. I didn't have any of that stuff. Now you do. It's just too easy. It's just too easy, so we got to put share in there. Sponsor. All right, I'm going to get into baseball now. Anybody know who that is? No.
Colorado Rockies.
No, it's,
Oh,
I told you who it was.
it's Dexter Fowler. So, again, nobody knows who this guy is in the room. Even Dan is a baseball junkie. I thought for sure you're going to get that. You'll get the next one. So this is Dexter Fowler, and a lot of times in this business we talk about hitting for average, okay? And so for those of you who are not familiar with baseball, if on average, out of every 10 at-bats you have, you get 3 hits, you bat 300, and people like Dexter Fowler make a couple $1 million a year to do that, okay? 3 times out of 10. The rest, they're out. But look at his stats. Here's his stats. He averaged just right on 300. He was I just went into the stats and looked this stuff up. He had 13 home runs and 53 runs batted in. Makes a couple $1 million, getting 3 hits. What are those hits? A lot of singles, right? He's getting on base, but he's not driving in a lot of home runs. He's not even getting a lot of RBIs. And who's this? Nope. I can't believe you're stuck on this.
Sorry.
Alan Craig. Nobody knows who this guy is. 307 hitter, 22 homers, 92 RBIs. So he's doing a little bit better than Dexter Fowler is. Okay, hitting for average, a few more home runs, more production. Who's this? Miguel Cabrera. How do we know who Miguel Cabrera is? Because Miguel Cabrera won the Triple Crown this year. He hit 330, 44 home runs, and 139 RBIs. He's the leader in those 3 categories. Statistically, 330 is not that much better than 300 or 307, given the number of at-bats that are in play here. What's the difference? The difference is Miguel Cabrera is not hitting singles. He's 6'6" and 240. Dexter Fowler's a little fast guy. Gets a hit, runs to first base as fast as he can, and legs out a lot of those singles. Not Cabrera. Cabrera is hitting it out of the ballpark. Miguel Cabrera made $21 million this year. Not because of this, but because of this. Because his hits are effective. See, and a lot of people in this business are doing what Denise talked about earlier. They're hitting singles. What's a single? It's somebody who's just in it for the discount. That's a single. That shouldn't even count as a hit. You gave up something there. You gave up your retail commission. What people need to do is start hitting more doubles. What's a double? Double somebody gets an Emerald coach, has some volume, organizes a challenge group, is active, shows up. They're the people that you want to be working with, not the people who just get on base, but the people that actually make you second. Third, what's third base? You know, a triple. A triple is somebody who gets to diamond, is active, is organizing, they're on their way to star diamond. What's a home run? Stand up. Yes. Todd was a customer lead at Monica's. He was one of the people who was here when I showed that slide. Upgrade, 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 homer. That's what it takes. Not batting for average. Not batting for average. It takes hitting triples. And in order to do that, you got to sponsor people. Can anybody tell me what this is?
Big hole.
A big hole. That's a diamond mine. That's actually one of the biggest diamond mines in the world. It's in Siberia. And what you can see is the dirt has been moved over here. Lots of dirt, little itty bitty rocks. That's what it takes. You're mining for diamonds. You're going to have to move a lot of dirt to find them. To find those people who are going to be 5-star leaders in your business, and you're willing to travel across the country and go see and speak in front of people for them, you're going to have to move a lot of stuff out of the way. That's just the truth. Okay? We actually organize 13-week focus groups. We take 20 people and we mine. That's what we do. We move a lot of dirt out of the way because that's what it takes. You got to get all that stuff out of the way to find the gems. And that's what sponsor looks like. Follow up, key. Fortune's in the follow up. That's your next activity. Follow up. Okay? Find, invite, share, sponsor, follow up. Scheduling, it's just paramount. Absolutely paramount to having any level of success with follow up. If you don't have a system for follow up, you're done. Forget it. It's not going to happen. Because you won't even think about it. You won't even think about it unless you have some sort of a system. I don't care what your system is. Post-it notes are better than nothing. But you got to have something that you use. Get on offense. That's a big part of follow-up. See, when you're on offense and you're doing the other things, you're finding, inviting, sharing, and sponsoring, you have follow-ups that are generated. I'll show you some of them in just a minute. Calendar reflects your priorities. This is important to you. You'll have things related to these 5 activities on your calendar every day. Who? Customers, prospects, coaches, and leaders. 80-20, 90-10, 97-3, whatever it looks like for you, these people need to be on your schedule. When you have somebody who's a leader, how often do you talk to Monica?
Every week.
Every week. I talk to my leaders every single week. More than once. We have a scheduled phone call, though, once a week. It's on my calendar. And they know that they can count on that call happening. We text each other, and we see on Facebook. We do all that stuff, too. But I'm digging in and devoting my time to them because that's important. And that's a big part of follow-ups. Following up with your leaders. Don't let people will get distracted on you. You can't let them do that. This is my calendar. I'm going to show you this very quickly. The purple stuff are my kids' appointments. The rest are phone calls or appointments that I've set. Up here on Tuesday morning, I block time off on my schedule to work on my blog and work on YouTube because that's my baby. Okay. On Thursday morning, that time is blocked off to send Shakeology samples. Those 2 things always happen. They have to. They have to. If those 2 things aren't happening, my business isn't growing. I have to send out Shakeology samples once a week. What does that mean that I'm sending Shakeology samples out? Anybody? Share. I have to find people to send them to. Yeah. I gotta find people and get them interested in a Shakeology sample in order for this to have anything to do on that day. So my schedule, not surprisingly, is focused on that. This is my wife's schedule. I don't care what you use. Right? Isn't that funny? Me, her. We're very different people. Very, very different people. But it doesn't matter. What's important is, she highlighted it so you can really see the different types of activities. It's not normally highlighted like that. But look, it's like that's a play that we're taking the kids to. The kids' activities are on there. This 3 to 6 time here, this is just, don't call me. If you do, it's going to voicemail. So my phone's probably turned off. Because that's not your time. Your time is elsewhere. That's time for these guys. That's time for them. And if that doesn't work for you, I'm sorry. I talk to people all the time who tell me, yeah, I can only talk to you at night. Sorry, but I can only talk to you at night. Really? Really? You don't take lunch? What do you do for a living? You don't take lunch? Seriously? You can't give up going to Applebee's or whatever to get on the phone with somebody who's earned $1 million in this business? You serious? Then you're probably not in my 80-20 thing. That tells me right where you're at. Because it's just not important enough to you. All right, 10 things every day. This is what it looks like. It's this simple. This is what I do. I get up every day and I just save these for a week. I don't normally toss it, but I just save these for a week. We'll post it and make a list. Now, I don't normally put the red stuff on there. I add it so you can see what categories these things fall into. These are coaches. That's sponsoring. This is stuff related to my blog or this is my Twitter account. That's finding. This is, again, follow-up. FU does stand for follow-up. Don't. Follow-up. These are follow-ups. This is an invite, and that is a share. sending the Beachbody challenge video to somebody there.
What's the TC?
TC is telephone call. Sorry. Tuesday, again, find sponsor, follow up, find sponsor. My challenge, my team call. I didn't even put the team call on here. You know, because this is second nation for me. Wednesday, find sponsor, find follow up, find. This is how I start every day. That's my game plan. Right there. That's it. It's that simple. It's that simple. I make a list of 10 things every day. And I have the people that I work with do the same thing. Everybody who's in that Diamond Mind group that I talked about, this is what we do, and we share these with each other. I take a picture, I have a success partner, I take a picture of it, and I send it to her every morning. Here's my list. She does the same for me. I can then look at her list and go, no, mowing your lawn doesn't count. That's not on your list of 10 things. Now, is personal development? Yes. Absolutely. I don't put it on my list because it's just automatic for me. I get in the shower, I take this, I put it in a stereo, and I listen to something every single morning. It's just automatic. I'm leading this group of people, so I have a book that we have to read, and so I'm accountable to them. So I don't include it on my list, but I think it's fine to include that on your list. Some people include working out on their list, being a product of the product. It's part of the 3, right? It's okay. Include that on your list if you want to. I don't on mine. I focus on the 5 key activities because the other stuff is second nature for me. Here's Thursday. More of the same. Find, invite, sponsor, find. Get paid. Friday. Find, sponsor, follow up, find. Notice how find. Okay, I want to talk about this really quickly because I mentioned earlier that blogging is like a big part of what I do and the internet. So that's all find. Right? Like that's where I put, that's how I find people. So if I'm on a webinar or I'm uploading a site map or whatever it may be that's related to that, that's find activity for me. Because all that stuff is what helps me find other people. So I want to just qualify that. So Saturday and Sunday. I used to work at a job that if your car was not in the parking lot on a Sunday afternoon, people wondered if you were dead. Because you had to be there on Sunday. That was it. Sunday afternoon, office is packed with people. None of the assistants or anybody were there, but all the attorneys were there. I hated that. So this is my list now. Hang with family, go surfing, watch some football, try not to work. Because I'm a bit of a workaholic. Because I've earned it. Alright, so let's take a look real quick. I gotta move fast. But what if you did this for 90 days in these 4 major areas? Right? This is just what it looks like. You may never surf before, but if you went 39 times, you'd figure it out. I guarantee you. It didn't take me that many times. Emotional. What would happen if you had 13 Friday night dinner? Friday night dinner for us, we have dinner with my grandparents. They're 95 years old. So my kids get to spend Friday nights with their grandparents, taking care of them, being of service to them. What happens to your emotional being when you do that? You get better. You get better. This is the scary one. You could read 10 pages a day, 900 pages. How many books that is? I mean, how many, the book she gave me is like 50 pages long. 1,350 minutes of audio, 180 shares with people, 3 great game plan trainings, and 3 new coaches. If you just sign 1 a month, you can do P90X. Okay, what if we do this over a year? The point here, right, it's the compound effect of doing it every single day, showing up every single day with an offensive game plan that's geared on those 5 things, and then also for the other priorities that you have in your life. What happens? 156 days of surfing for me. That's like heaven. 52 of those dinners, 12 first Thursdays. First Thursday the first Thursday of every month. We want to do it every month, but first Thursday of every month we have a cocktail party, and we invite a group of people. And it's not really a business thing; it's a networking thing, though, where people come and they network at our house. Well, what happens there? Well, I get some great people there, and I love those things, and that brings a lot to my life. Here's where it gets scary. 3,650 pages. Almost 5,500 minutes of audio, 730 shares. You want to blow your business up? Go talk to 730 people. Make that many contacts. See what happens. See what happens. Unless you're really screwing it up, you're going to win in a big, big way. She asked, can you invite 2 people a week to a chat? Yeah. Why? That's why. Because I'll talk to 730 people this year. I guarantee it. Absolutely guarantee it. Because I know that's what it takes. All right, physical, this is kind of scary too. In 1 year, if you just put your head down and didn't take much recovery time, You can do 2 rounds of P90X, a round of Insanity, a round of Les Mills Pump, and be about 2/3 of the way through your second ultimate reset. If you did it every day. That's what can happen in a year. So now what happens in 5 years? I don't care what your politics are. Have you met the President of the United States? Because Carl has. Because Carl's goal when he started this thing is to change the world. And if you want to change the world, whoever stands in that spot and sits in that office is on your schedule. That's why. That's why. If Romney's elected, he'll go meet with Mitt Romney. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. But guess what he didn't do? Start Team Beachbody in 1998 on a Wednesday, and Friday it said on his calendar, meet with President. No. He put his head down. He did the little things. Here's what it looked like in my life. I don't have a magic pill or a silver bullet or any of that stuff. This is just like fitness. You're going to have to dig in and do the work. And it's just about consistency and commitment to that. This is the homework. Think about these 4 different areas of your life. Let that drive this. That drives your schedule. What is important to you? What are your non-negotiables? And then what else is really important in your life? And I can almost guarantee you will start to see that your 3rd favorite TV show and fantasy football and probably a whole lot of other stuff aren't on that list because they're just not that important to you. If they are important to you, they are not as important as some of the other things in your life. I just guarantee it. And yet you're spending time doing those things. And then looking around and wondering why your business didn't grow. Why you're still going to the same job every single day. And it's just about consistency. You know, set yourself up to win. Seriously. If you just do the, try for 90 days, commit to this. 10 things a day for 90 days that are in those areas. When you first start doing this, it will be hard. You'll go like, I got 4. Crap. Oh, personal development and workout. Okay, I got 6. Pretty soon, it's like automatic. It's just automatic. You start looking at the list from yesterday. Did I get them all done? Nope, that one goes on the top of the list for today. Just commit to that for 90 days, and I'm telling you, you're going to get where you want to go. Denise talked about belief. Belief is huge. Belief is huge. I did not believe that I could do this at one point. Absolutely did not believe I could do it. And when people told me, you're an idiot, you're a fool, you're chasing after gold that doesn't exist, I said, you're right. And I did the little mouse thing where you go back down the thing. You have to believe that you can do this. You absolutely have to believe you can do this. I always tell a story about our dream house. Our dream house is on the beach in Coronado, right? Not very far from where that condo's at. It's $10 million. $10 million. There was a day where I went through my life and said I could never live in a $10 million home. It's just way too much money. I couldn't do that. Now, I know something, and I know that there's a reason that they build $10 million homes. Anybody know what the reason they build $10 million homes is? Anybody? What's that? It's a dream? Anybody? Simple.
Somebody said you couldn't do it.
For somebody to live in. They build $10 million homes for people to live in. They're not fancy statues, they're not museums. People live in them. If that's true, how come I can't? Why not me? When I started asking that question and phrasing it, why not me? No reason other than my own self-doubt. This is what you gotta. This is how you gotta be. If you're a house cat, you gotta start looking in the mirror and seeing a lion. I'm telling you, you have to. You have to. You have got to work on yourself until that image on both sides is a lion. There it is again. Face the war. Be a warrior like a lion, or you end up like a pet tucked away all the time. This is what I always tell my people. The people that I work with, the people who are the 20 of my 80-20, you've seen this in people. You see greatness in people. They look in the mirror and they see the house cat. I look at them and I see a lion. And I tell them, there is so much more for you than you're even taking advantage of. Because if you can see what I see, you know you're a lion. You know it. Some people can't let themselves see that. And that's just life. But some will. The difference between who you are and who you want to be is what you do. And what you have to do to get where you want to be may not be pretty, it may not come easy. Think about that diamond picture that I showed you. A lot of dirt, little itty bitty rocks. A lot of heavy lifting going on. That's the truth right there, and that is also the end of my presentation. So, commit to 90 days, 10 things, get on offense.